Hello, my friends. How are you? Hope you're all great. It's good to be here again. So as usual, I'll start off having a little chat with you guys and see if I can help you with some things that I think that are beneficial for us in life. That's the main purpose. I'll just keep letting people in as I go on. So what I thought I'd talk about today is something that is so important to the journey, the spiritual journey or the personal development journey, because we've been essentially taught to live our life from this area. So we think our way through life. If you think about it, rarely are we fully present. The enlightened masters are able to bring their attention in alignment with their body all of the time. They're continuously here all of the time. But the rest of us are often thinking about what life is as opposed to living what life is. And the way we learn to do that is through meditation. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I'm not going to bore you, don't worry, but I want to give you enough information to hopefully inspire you to do a bit more of it, because it's such a great gift. It's possibly the greatest gift of self-love that you could ever do for yourself, really, because it eventually pulls our attention into the moment. But the benefits are unbelievable because it helps our health tremendously. Because when your attention's in the moment, you're at peace. Now, even if there's a war going on around you, hopefully you'll never get to experience that. But even at that, there is an innate harmony that's always present. And you can only ever get to experience that innate harmony when you're in the moment. And also when you're in the moment, you're tapping into everything, because think about it. There's nothing going on that's not in the moment, nothing anywhere. The entirety of everything is happening now, right? It absolutely is. So when I bring my attention into the moment, what happens is I become aligned with everything that's going on in the moment. And that's also how I get to really experience my intuition, because my intuition volume is quite low. Can you hear me, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Is everybody, you can hear me okay? Turn your volume up, Ghoulie, if you can. Ghoul chat. So when I'm aligned in the moment, when I'm aligned with the moment, I'm able to get my intuition because I am one. I said this to you last time, you know, the only thing that defines anything is language, right? So the only reason the floor is the floor and the ceiling is the ceiling is because of the language that we give it. But if we take language away and then you look at the space around you, you can't define anything. It's just one thing, right? It's got different shapes and different feelings associated to it. But if there were no language whatsoever, I mean, it's difficult to do it completely, but try it. Have a look at your space and take off the meaning of everything, and you're left with just a thing, right? And you're not separate from it. The only thing that separates my elbow from my wrist is language. Therefore, the only thing that separates me from anything else is language. Now, of course, there's a physical world, and we operate in and out of the physical, in the physical world. And I can't walk through the cabinet here. It's impossible. So I could say, well, that's definitely separate from me because I can't walk through it. But when I look, the whole thing's happening now. And that gives me a deeper understanding of what it means to be one, because there's only one thing I'm ever experiencing, and there's only one moment that I'm ever experiencing it in, right? I'm only ever here, and there's only ever this one thing. It contains lots of things, but it's just the one thing that's happening in the moment, and everything is happening in the moment. And when I get to align myself with the moment, then I can hear my intuition. Not only that, life, because it's connected to me vibrationally, starts to guide me. It starts to tell me exactly where I'm supposed to go and when I'm supposed to go there. It absolutely guides me. Plus I can trust, right? It's only here that you can't trust, because your mind is continuously telling you it should be, maybe that will happen, maybe this will happen. And so then fear comes because of the narrative that goes on here. But if I actually bring my attention to where I am and look at the undeniable truth about where I am, in the majority of cases, I'll find that there's nothing to worry about. Now, there will be times where I'll have to change my reality to deal with what comes at me, but I've got this amount of years, my age, to prove that I'm always going to be okay. Whatever your age is, there's your proof. You'll be okay. You made it to here. So that's proof that there's nothing to worry about. You might have had some challenging times, but you're still here, right? So the more you learn to bring your attention into the moment where you're actually hanging out, the easier life gets. And you're also able to then, I forgot what I was going to say. Look at that, came in and it went. You're also able to then trust that the next thought will come easily. You're also able to then, when you're in the moment, you're able to, oh, that's what I was looking for. You're able to accept, because you know when you're in the moment that it couldn't be anything else, right? It just couldn't. Now, the mind says it should be something else, but it couldn't be anything else until it is. And when I drop into that knowledge, when I'm here and I realize that it's this way, how do I know it's supposed to be this way? Because it is this way, right? It just couldn't be another way. So there's a lot of peace in that. But if I've trained, and most of us have been trained to operate here in the mind, right? So if I stay there, it'll tell me that everything's separate. So there'll always be a political agenda going on. Is it this or is it this? Should I go there? Should I go there? Because that's how the mind works. If I stay there, I'll also generate fear, because I'm following a narrative. Now more than ever, there's so much fear on the planet. There's so much separation. More than ever, we need to come into our own individual self and bring love back into our own individual self, right? That's the only thing I can do. If I follow everything that I'm being told out there, now I'm not saying that you should break the rules, especially in the current climate, not at all. What I'm saying is to drop the fearful stuff while still adhering to what you're being told you need to do, but bring your own vibration up. And you do that by bringing your attention to the moment, because everything's okay here. Here's the other thing. Your thoughts are absolutely directly connected to your cells, right? So if I'm up here and I'm worried about something, or I'm sad about something, or I'm angry about something, if that's going on up here, if that's what the thought is, then my feelings will follow suit. My cells will follow suit. Every single cell is connected, and I will have to, over time, what will happen is I'll develop some ill health, because if I have anger going on long enough, somewhere in the body that will show up. The body does that purposefully because it wants your attention. It's saying the way that you're thinking isn't working for you. That's why we get illness, right? The way that you're looking at it isn't working. And I can't get your attention. I'm trying everything, intuition. I'm trying to get you to meet this person, to hear this bit of information, but you won't listen. So I'm going to have to give you an illness. And that's what happens. That's how we get to learn about ourselves, because everything is connected. So you can see the power of daily meditation. Now, I emphasize the daily because for something to get better in our life, we must do it regularly, right? To keep your teeth in good condition, you've got to clean them regularly, not just once, but regularly every single day, right? So we've got to do everything we can to ensure that we're working on a daily discipline that absolutely benefits us. Right? Now, there's lots of things we do every day that don't benefit us. So we've got to look at a few things that if I do this every day, it will absolutely benefit me. Now, so for the beginning meditators, what I recommend, the first thing you've got to learn to do is to simply show up to the meditation. So you grab hold of the back of your head, and you pull yourself up one more time every day when you plan to do it. The day before you're going to do it, schedule a time when you're going to do it, so you know that's the time I'm going to do my meditation. Otherwise, the day will just pass and you'll miss it. So you show up. And what I really recommend for beginning meditators is to start with 5 minutes only. Now, the thing about meditation, the thing that you want to be looking at is that you want to be the purpose. There are lots of different types of meditation. The one that I'm going to suggest you work with has 2 points to it. The first is that you're looking at what happens now, right? So you're bringing your attention to the moment. You're not following any guidance. You can do that. It always helps. I'm going to guide you into a meditation shortly, which is nice. But your daily practice wants to be just looking at what's happening now. And the thing that you've always got that's always happening now is your body, right? Your mind can go into the future and the past, but your body cannot. It's always here. So it's a great place for you to jump back into with your attention whenever you remember. And the more you remember, that part of you will remind you. It's called the observer. So the more that you generate the observer, you build the muscle of observing yourself in the moment. What happens is that part of you, the observer, starts reminding you to come back into the moment. And every time you do come back, everything's okay in that moment. And you get solutions, you get answers, you get inspired thought. You're able to laugh again, because it's just the way it is. No point getting all serious about anything when you come to the moment, because it's just this, right? So you're able to be alive again when you come to the moment. So 5 minutes every single day, you're watching the moment. That's the first thing. The second thing I recommend is you put your hands on your heart chakra, because what this does more than anything is it brings your attention over time down to your feeling center, from the male part of you to the female part of you, the masculine educated part of you to the feminine spontaneous authentic part of you. This is the learned part of you. It's what you've learned to fit into your tribe. This is the authentic part of you that is absolutely connected to your heart. So just by putting your hands on your heart chakra for as long as you can while you're meditating will absolutely benefit you. And it will also help the mind calm down quicker. So simply put your hands here on the heart chakra when you're meditating. If you've done Merlin or another one of them, that you can use one of the energies, let go would be the best one for meditation from the Merlin system. But if you've done Reiki, then just say the word Reiki if it's Reiki 1, or any other healing modality. But you don't need that. You just want to be putting your hands on here. Now, for a man, you put your left hand on first, your right hand on top, thumbs touching. For a woman, you put your right, look the other way around, but for a woman, you put your right hand first and your left hand on top, okay? That's the mudra for this meditation. It allows the energy to flow easier. So you're doing 2 things. For 5 minutes, you're watching the moment. You look at the 5 senses in your body. What am I hearing? You don't analyze it. What am I tasting? Again, no analyzing. What is it like to have a tongue? What is it like to have lips? What does it feel like sitting in this chair? Which parts of my backside are actually touching the chair? Which parts of my legs are touching the chair? And which parts of my feet are touching the floor or the sock or the shoe? And what's my relationship like with the space? What's it like to be in this space? Your eyes are going to be closed, obviously. You're looking at what your thoughts say, but you're not engaged in them. Now, that takes a bit more practice, but you're just observing. You're doing everything you can to observe the moment. If you get stuck, you put your attention here on the end of your nose, and you're simply watching the breath go in, and you're watching it go out. You don't breathe different than you normally breathe. You can, if it's okay, breathe a little bit deeper and into the belly, because that helps you to relax. So when you breathe in, your belly expands. When you breathe out, your belly contracts, not the other way around. When we're breathing from the chest, you'll notice that when you breathe in, the chest expands and the belly goes in. Now that's called shallow breathing. When you're stressed, that's what happens. Now most people are breathing like that most of the time. You look at a relaxed baby, their belly goes up when they're breathing in and their belly goes down when they're breathing out. Totally relaxed, totally. And it's the quickest way to relax yourself. So if you can breathe deeply, then what you do is you breathe as slowly as you can and as deeply as you can into your belly without it being a hassle. If you're ended up in that space, that's not right. You've got to get it so it works for you, and it doesn't have to be a long breath. It's as long as you can do to make it easy. Remember, only 5 minutes to start with. Then what I recommend is that after you've done the first week of 5 minutes, the second week goes up to 6 minutes. And then the third week to 7, and so on and so forth, until you get to at least 30. Right now, that's going to take some time, but you're starting really easy baby steps. And the purpose is to get the habit forming so that eventually this will become a daily ritual for you, and it will absolutely benefit everything, because your inside is creating your outside. So when the inside's at peace, guess what the outside looks like and experiences. Also, when I'm in the moment, I get to hear what my heart says, which is the loving, authentic part of me. So I get to understand what I love to do. Right? If I'm up here all the time, I'm not understanding me. I can't find me. I don't really know who I am. I might know the name that I am, and I might know what I've been taught that I am, but I don't really understand me, and I won't understand the feelings that come. I won't understand what things mean for me. So before you can move into any form of abundance, you've got to understand yourself, because if you don't know what you really, truly love, then that's got to be the first step for you. That absolutely must be the first step to find out, who am I and what do I love? Because what you love will take you to your abundance if you do more of what you love. But you've got to find that from your heart, not from your head. Okay? Great. So 5 minutes. This as long as you can. Try and do it the whole 5 minutes. It's not difficult. You just drop your wings to the side so it's easy. And you're watching the breath in, you're doing everything you can to bring your attention back. Now, just before I finish, if you go the whole 5 minutes and you weren't able to stay present at all, maybe you had a great thought about something and you're totally in it, and all of a sudden the alarm goes off, 5 minutes is over, you weren't present not for 1 second, this is what you do. Give yourself a big hug and say, it's okay, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And if the same thing happens the next day, you say, it's okay, I'm still going to love you, and I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And then you might get 10 seconds, you might even get a minute out of the 5. And then it's okay. And if your mind goes off at any time, the moment you remember, you just come back. You can't come back unless you remember, right? So there's no pressure either. You can only come back when you do remember. But as you do this practice, you'll start to feel. Now, look, if you want to be a concert pianist, they say at least 10,000 hours. That's 10 years, 10,000 hours. Or is it 20 years? I can't remember, possibly 20 years. But so there's a lot of practice to get really good. Whereas with meditation, you'll really benefit from it within a month to 3 months. Really life-changing stuff happens, but it's got to be every day. The other thing that I recommend is set a 100-day challenge for yourself and say, I'm going to do 100 days. And if I miss a day, I'll go back down to day 1 again, so that you get yourself going. You want to get it so you don't want to miss it. Okay, enough on meditation, enough on talking about meditation. I'm going to take you into a meditation right now, and then we're going to do a healing attunement.